Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is The Road to the Record. We're playing Pro Cycling Manager 2019. It's Career Mode episode number 35. We're going to wrap up, finally, the first season here. I think 35 episodes is way too long for a season. It should have been 20-25. I really didn't quite catch on to that until we were already well into the episodes and realized we had a lot of season left to play. But we're finally there. We're at the end of the season. It's mid-September. Season ends mid-October, but we're only going to have a couple of races. Most of what's between here and the end is the World Championships, which I won't manage. I enjoy that one for Pro Cyclist mode, not for the career mode necessarily. Those aren't my guys normally, and I don't really gain anything from it, so I'll quick sim those, but I'll give you the results as we go along. And then we have a couple of youth races, and really nothing of what's left is really of much importance. It's pretty easy stuff, so I actually really would be pretty comfortable kind of just quick simming everything between now and the end of the season. So maybe, hey, let's go ahead and do that. So here we go. Let's wrap up season number 1. First, though, news. There's plenty of it. When you go through nearly a month, or at least a few weeks anyway. So Max Cantor, moving on to Wallonie Bruxelles. That Colorado Classic that we did last episode, we earned 38,000, so that was a healthy increase to our budget right there. Sepp Kuss, moving on to EF Education First. I would have loved to have kept Sepp Kuss, and he is a loss to the team, but he was our highest paid rider, even though he was really only our 4th or 5th best option, and has very low potential to improve and wanted a pay increase. So made the sacrifice, let Sepp Kuss go. Alan Banaszek has broken a shin bone. Eiking, with no renewal, has decided to move on to Tyrrell KTM. Ermino moving to his home nation and is joining Groupama FTJ. It's a good time trialist. That's another one that actually really both of those guys, I wanted to retain them for the right price. Both of them wanted too much of a pay increase. One of my targets, Nicola Conchi, is going to Bahrain Merida. He was too expensive. Alan Banaszek, another one I would have been happy to retain, but again, it would have been for cheap. He's moving on to CCC. And another one of my targets, this was the young rider that I wanted to get in with high potential. But again, he wanted to be paid like a veteran rider and not like a young rookie coming up. And he's going to move to Movistar, so somebody with a big budget willing to pay him what he wants and get a hold of that high potential. So next race on the calendar is the Tour du Doubs. I'm not sure what nation's hosting it, so it's really hard to figure out how to pronounce that one. But we're going to begin our quick sim speed through the end of the season so we can get finally into season number 2, which of course we are staying with our sponsor, but we are getting a max increase in budget. We are short a rider with Nervaeus still out, and that's okay. I don't need to fill that gap. Well, you know what? Why not? Why not? Vashek is decent on the hills. We'll bring him in. And there we go. Quick sim. See what the results are, if we can get anyone in or around a top position. We've got plenty of guys that are good on hills. Should be capable of a result, but we can only manage to flood the teens with Warren Barguil taking the victory. Next up is the Olympias Tour. It's a youth race. It could be another one of those dominant situations. And it starts tomorrow, so we'll go ahead and stay live and push through the simulation phase here. So it's come up in the comments section of the posted videos that various conversations about races throughout the year. And here we go. So Cantor is going to be kind of the favorite for sprints. Evenepoel for the overall. McNulty up there as well. And right away with the prologue, Evenepoel is going to go right into the leader's jersey with second, McNulty third. You can see Cantor just 13 seconds behind, has a good opportunity to move up the order in the sprint stages. Wow, we're already picking up a lot of extra info here. La Vuelta. That was the final stage. Schwartzman takes the final stage in Madrid. But the overall, it's Egan Bernal with Adam Yates and Mikel Landa in a 1-2-3. Malama, Montreal, third single winner. Quebec had a similar situation. Lukic, one of the riders I was looking for, is going to sign with Tyrrell. And that's our continued update on the news. Stage 2 is a sprint stage. Cantor's got to be the favorite for this one. Got a few guys on their final fitness peaks of the year. Cantor does win. Ooms takes third with the lead out. Vashek takes sixth. Gonna look at what the stage 3 profile is. It's another sprint stage, so Cantor again should be the favorite. If he wins this stage, it would be enough to move him into the race leader's jersey over his teammate. Cantor does win. Ooms takes third again. And that puts them on top. So Cantor now in the leader's jersey. Ooms is second, 2 seconds behind Evenepoel and McNulty. We have a 1-2-3-4. Mader also just outside, a few seconds down. So our total domination of the youth rankings continues. If you remember the last time that I actually raced those youth races, we were pulling off like a 1-2-3-4-5 out of the 6 riders or something that we had there. So we were only really losing one rider, sacrificing for the others. Again, Cantor should be favorite here for stage number 4. Ooms manages to grab second this time over Heiderschiel. Heiderschiel does move up into 4th place now, though. These races, they count to our victory total, but they don't count in the Super Prestige, even though they are supposed to. It's been a while since we've had that discussion. Of course, if you watch the entire series, you're well aware by this point, as we have another sprint stage, stage number 5. Again, Cantor, another chance to extend his lead. And he does. Heiderschiel again taking second. Ooms right there in third. Vashek continuing to hover around the top 10, but he's not gaining any time from it. And Heiderschiel now moves ahead of Evenepoel for 3rd place. Stage 6 is a short time trial. It's closer to a prologue than time trial, so it would definitely use both attributes and more prologue than time trial. But officially, it's a 12-kilometer time trial. This would be a chance for Evenepoel to move back into the lead. But Cantor should be able to stay up there. Venable wins. Ooms takes second. Cantor is fifth, just 12 seconds down. McNulty, Mater, now the overall standings. Cantor still in the race lead. Ooms is second. Venable is back up into third. McNulty is sixth. Mater is eighth. And Heiderscheid is long gone. He is out of the top 25. Wow, he lost a lot of time. With one stage to go, Cantor's got the points classification, but not locked up. His own teammate, Ooms, is actually a bit closer. We'll check the final for that one with just one stage left to go. Stage 7 has a single cobbled section, it looks like. It's also got a little bit of undulation through the middle, but ultimately is still a sprint stage. And so this will put us into the final standings for the longest tour that remained on the calendar for us. Cantor wins 27 seconds clear, so this is actually going to open things up a little bit. Mater there. Ooms loses some time. So we do see some time losses in this one because of that single cobbled section has a weird way of altering results in quick sims. So Vandenberg jumps to second because of that result. Ooms and Mater are third and fourth. McNulty 13th. And look who is nowhere near with a withdrawal, actually. Ouch. 58 riders left. Hopefully Evenepoel is not badly injured. Might miss the rest of the season at this rate. Cantor wins the points classification. KOM goes to Nogisha. Cantor wins the under 25s, and the team easily wins the overall. Only 10 teams present for this one, or at least with enough riders anyway. Done with our sightings for next season. No budget remaining. So, the individual time trial, all 5 of these guys should be. Oh, we need 4 on the day of. Okay, not 4 of 5. So they cut us down by 1 more. Well, really, McNulty's the weakest one, but Fitness, Lawson Craddock is the one who's looking a bit weak right now. So, do I leave Bookwalter, Craddock, or McNulty home? They're obviously the weaker riders. Let's leave Craddock home. He's already sacrificed himself. We'll send a doctor. But again, quick sim for this. You can see it's relatively flat, but not completely. It's 54K. Nobody's on a fitness peak right now. So really, Craddock probably would do better than McNulty, actually. All things considered, the fitness, maybe. I don't know, it's hard to say. McNulty could easily pick up 1 or 2 points to get up there near Craddock. But he's my rider. So I'll use that bias and get him out there and get him that experience. Evenepoel takes 15th overall for Belgium. McNulty takes 24th, so there you go. He did put in a good result. But it's Victor Campenarts over Castroviejo and Dowsett. Pidcock extending with Team Wiggins. Road race will be the next one here in a couple days. Oof, Evenipol not at his best after. Good thing he got the time trial done at least. Alright, we need 8 riders, so just 1 is going to be left out. This one is very undulating. The resistance, why is it not giving me the resistance in order? Okay, the weakest on the hills is Chad Haga, but he's got good resistance. That's awfully weak compared to everybody else, so let's leave Chad Haga home for this one. Even though he's got that good resistance. And we'll take the other guys. Bring the doctor. And here you can see there's a few climbs and then there's just this constant undulation to the end. So we need kind of that combination of mountain and hill rating, and all of them are good in mountains, 70 plus. All of them are good in hills except Haga. And then of course you need resistance to get to the end. So that's guys we'll send. So Coos and McNulty are going for this one. I would imagine that some of our other riders like Evenipol could very well be selected, and we end up with a bunch sprint by the end. Surprisingly, I did not think that the bunch sprint would really... I didn't think these guys would really hang on, but the classification says flat, so I guess it's flat. Viviani takes the win, and we'll have the rainbow armbands. DeMar, Groenewegen, Colbrelli, Ewan, Trentin, Matthews, Stibar, Van Evermont, Christoph, and do we have our man for next year in here? Jasper Philipson? I don't see him. So, not the result we would have wanted on this one. No, not at all. Just a cold. He'll be better in a few days. Four races left now till we wrap up the season, and I think they're all one-day races. Bit of news here. Oh, turn of the month. We're into October. Banajek back from his injury. That was what, a broken shin bone, something like that? Okay, one more day till that race. There it is. Still Narvaez out. He was supposed to be back by the end of September, but he hasn't made it there. We do meet the minimum at least for this youth race. Yet again, Cassart, Evenepoel, Mater, McNulty going to this one. Evenepoel finishes 10th. Our index is 27th, so we should be comfortably into Pro Continental because it should go down to about 40th, give or take. Next race is on the 10th. Just about there. Final 3 dates on the calendar. Balcumalama wins the Milano-Torino race. This one's got a bit of undulation to it. This is a race I could do well with, and it's a normal race. I would normally carry this one out. But again, we've done enough. We have done enough for this season. Evenepoel takes third. Koos takes fifth. It's Oliver Nawson over Victor Campenarts. Antonio Nibali in fifth. And 2 to go. We've got one more youth race, and then the Japan Cup. Completely flat. Gino Mater, closest thing to a sprinter that I have for this one, so not a given that we would win this. And we don't. Thomas Pidcock takes it. That was the rider I was looking for. We were trying to get him onto the squad for next season as a young, affordable option. Didn't happen, though. Gino Mater, Brandon McNulty. Just one chance left to pull a win for the season. It's actually still 10 days away. So with it 10 days away, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and make a quick jump cut to that final race. Again, though, not going to participate. We're going to go straight towards the 1st of January and get ourselves set for next season. Narvaez not fully recovered, but he was back in action finally. But he ends up down in 51st place on what very well could have been a victory for him. But what we do get is a 1-2 with Evenepoel and Sepp Kuss at the front. So we do end with one more strong result. That's the end of our season. Now let's wrap things up. First off, same day we just got a message about nominations for the Cyanide Trophy for the top rider of the year. So we're going to get to that and to our results. Of course, the team, the sponsorship results, Sponsor Confidence was a super success, which means we're going to have a new budget from $100,000 increasing to $125,000 per month next season. It's a pretty hefty increase. A good chunk of that's going to Philipson, and increases in salaries of our current team. Our results are all in, and you can see we had 2 total failures and 1 partial failure all early on in the season, but we really got things going, and we wrapped up the season with 3, 6, 9, 10 straight successes, and 8 of them being even more successful than what was expected. And the one of the 2 that wasn't more than expected, right, is getting a stage win or wins. Well, that was that last episode, so I could tell you firsthand that we also greatly exceeded the expectations. They wanted me to win one. We won all 4 stages and the overall. So you could say that was exceeding the expectation as well. So, very good year for that in terms of the objectives. A lot of noteworthy results throughout the season. Registered riders, Logan Owen for the Colorado Classic. That was a nice little boost there. And then squad, still decent. In terms of finances, good balance. We've definitely put some money away from where we started the season. We're about $100,000 up from where we were at the start of the year, so that's good. In fact, it looks like we're more than $200,000 up from where we were at the start of the year. So we started with a pretty small balance. The team, 21 victories for Evenepoel, 21 for Cantor. So in the sprint, And in the stage races, those two were dominant. McNulty has 7 of his own. Narvaez and Banijek each with 6, as well as William Barta. The only riders not to get wins this year, Eiking, Vashek, and Cassart. So our 2 Barador, our 2 domestiques. And then Eiking, who is kind of that odd man out for us. He only scored 11 points this season. Vashek did score 36 himself. Cassart, the only one not to score. Vashek, it looks like he's just leveled up. He's a 70 now in average. He was a 68 just a month ago. His hill rating is now 74, so that's gone up quite a bit from where he was. I think he was at 68, 69, maybe a 70. So that's actually gone up quite a bit, and he's now officially a puncher. So his training regimen has gone well. Not sure if he's one of the ones I'm keeping for next season. No, Vashek still has no contract. That's kind of unfortunate. Now I'd like to have him back. Everybody else has a contract for next season. Cassart's the one we're hanging on to. I wish it was the other way around. But in terms of results, strongest team for next season, Duquesne Quickstep. No surprise by that. A lot of 4-star competition, though. So Bora really strongly at second there. Neri Satoli. Wow. They are moving up to World Tour status all the way up to the 8th strongest team from a Continental Pro position. Movie Star is down at 9th here. Bahrain Merida, just 3.5 stars. EF Education, also AG2R, Katusha Alpson, and CCC, all just hanging on. Direct Energy is going to remain. Continental Pro team, Dimension Data is dropping from World Tour status to Continental Pro and are going to be one of the 3-star teams. So we have one 3.5 star team in Direct Energy in the Continental Pro rankings for next season. These are the rest of your 3-star teams, and joining that list now and moving up from Continental to Continental Pro, my team, and hopefully we can make that jump. We're going to have to definitely get at least 3.5 stars for next season if we're going to jump to World Tour status. As you can see, for the most part, the only other teams that are moving up are just barely getting into that 2.5 star range. Teams on their way down. Burgos, a bit of a surprise. Novo Nordisk always happens in this game. First season, they always drop down. Rally, that's a surprise. That's a pretty good, larger budget team. This LKT team maybe folding, not sure. In terms of rankings, Garrett Thomas right on about 5,000 points in first place. That's pretty dominant. Chris Froome is second best this season. Carapaz third best. Mollema, Bernal. So Ineos really dominant. 3 of the top 5 riders, Adam Yates, Demoulin, Fulsang, Lopez, and Pinot are your top 10. No sprinters. That's very surprising. Gaviria, top sprinter, just 13th best this season. Peter Sagan, who's normally in or around the top of the standings, only 17th best this season. But in the Continental rankings, Evenepoel dominates, almost 500 points clear of Cockard. McNulty is 4th best. Mader, Koos, Narvaez, Cantor. Barta is 20th. Owen, Ooms, Banijek, Brian, Ermino, So again, we're going to miss Sepp Kuss, 8th best. And we'll miss Max Cantor, but with Philipsen coming over, I think we're okay with the loss of Cantor. But Kuss, I didn't really get a like-for-like replacement, and that's definitely going to hurt. Venepul was 38th in Super Prestige. Keep that in mind as we go forward into next season. But in terms of victories, Cantor and Venepul, 21 each. Best in the world. Great seasons for those two guys. Ineos absolutely dominating the World Tour rankings this season. Continental, we absolutely dominated. And in Super Prestige, 16th best. Final tally for the year of 3,792. For the game decathlon, that's 379. Just simple divide by 10 on that total. 16th best. That's good enough to be amongst the World Tour teams and above all the Continental teams. And we did that as a third tier Continental. Looking forward to next season as a Continental Pro team and what we can do there. Not quite 100 victories on the year, and this total is going to come down. It's going to come down a lot. So many of those 89 victories, probably close to half, were in the youth races that we're not going to be participating in any longer. So you could take away a good 40 of those for next season. 49 would still be enough for second best behind Ineos. Final thing we're going to look at here in the transfers. Take a look at the teams. Quick look at the World Tour teams, just one by one. So AG2R losing 5 riders, but they'll stay about the same in strength. Astana, a little bit stronger for next season in the sprint. Bahrain Merida, dropping a half star and getting weaker in the sprint. Bora Hansgrohe being reshaped slightly and actually losing a half star. Looks like Sagan, the big part that's going away, though they will be much stronger in the time trial. CCC still struggling, but slightly better next season in the sprint. Ducanic is so strong. GC and time trial, the only thing that they're not completely dominant in. EF Education first, similar makeup for next season. Groupama FDJ, much stronger in GC as they're picking up Carapaz and Volgren and Ermino. Lotto Sudal, almost identical. Mitchelton Scott, pretty much identical as well. Movie Star, dropping off a little bit. They're really strong in GC and Hill, but very weak in other areas. Dimension Data, dropping down to Continental Pro. And you can see that they're slightly stronger in GC, but they're going to be much weaker in Hills, and that was kind of their one area that they were decent at. They're going to have Izaguirre and Barguil next season. But best riders is 75. Ineos, very much looking the same for next season. Jumbo-Visma, actually a little bit weaker. You can see they're losing some of their top end. They still have Van Aert. They still have Ackerman. They're adding Ackerman in the sprint, but otherwise they are losing quite a few riders. Katusha Alpecin, stronger in punch, but definitely losing Some classics capabilities. Van der Poel is gone. Sunweb, very similar, a little weaker in the sprint. Trek losing some sprint. A lot of teams getting weaker in the sprint. UAE, a little stronger in time trial. Now, last thing we'll look at is our team. We've already seen it. We lose just a little bit of GC capability with the loss of Koos. We also lose a little bit in cobbles with the loss of Iking. But our sprint is slightly stronger heading into next season. And we actually go from 2.5 to 3 stars with the addition of Jasper Philipsen. Our new strongest rider, a 74. See, a 75 was not enough to get into the World Tour, so we're going to need to get somebody who's about a 76 or better for next season. And of course, we've already talked about this, but in that signing for next season, McNulty, Narvaez, Ooms, and Cassart, the only expiring contracts next year. Cassart, he'll be gone. I won't bother with him, but I will try to re-sign the other 3. So I will open dossiers on them just about right away. Maybe Ooms, the second period. But then after that, it's all about signing one big name. And in terms of budget, right, we're already close, but we still have that little bit of budget left in staff. That next season, we don't have the multi-years already signed. I can wait to re-sign those guys till late in the year. So we'll have that budget available. Plus, if we, again, get the sponsor confidence going the right direction, add another $25,000. So you add that with the staff, we've got $35,000. It's going to cost me a little bit to get McNulty, Narvaez, and Ooms re-signed in terms of higher increases to them. But it's definitely not going to cost me 30-something thousand to get those guys re-signed, especially if I get them all happy and wanting to re-sign. Therefore, we should have a good 15, 20,000 extra, 20,000 maybe. We'll see. McNulty's going to be expensive. Narvaez might be a bit expensive as well. So it could cost me a bit to get those guys re-signed. So got to keep an eye out on that part. But we absolutely can sign a big name. And Philipsen, Evenepoel, McNulty, Narvaez, Bennett, all young riders. Our top riders are all under 25s with plenty of potential. So we're going to see progress in those guys. So they could push us towards that extra half star that we need. And then it's going to be ultimately signing one rider, one strong rider, one team leader coming in to join these guys. And then hopefully, Evenepoel will be a 74 or 75, or Philipsen will be a 75 by next season. And then with that one rider, we can just inch our way into World Tour status. I mean, you can see that we're balanced. We don't necessarily have a strength. But the season is done. Let's move on to January 1st. The last thing. I almost forgot to look at this, though. Let's see who won all the big races. Geraint Thomas winning the Tour de France over Chris Froome and Tom Dumoulin. Giro went to Carapaz and then Bardet and Yates. La Vuelta went to Bernal and then Yates and Landa. Tour Down Under, Micah, Paris-Nice, Nibali. Dumoulin took the Torino Adriatico. Catalunya went to Simon Yates. Basque Country went to Chris Froome. Tour de Romandie to Carapaz. De Dauphiné to Roglic. Tour de Suisse is Carapaz again, so yeah, really good year. Pierre Latour wins the Pologne, and Bink Bank went to Vliegen. Wow, there's Wanty Group Gobert rider. Surprise victory there. I'm sure they were thrilled with that. UAE was Froome. Hey, Turkey. Chris Hamilton. Tour of California, Chris Froome and Johnny Muscan taking the Guangxi race. Major Classics, Viviani, Lampart, Nawson, Alaphilippe, and Costa, the others. Sagan, Gaviria, Carapaz, another victory for Carapaz. Adam Yates, Fuglsang, Sagan again, Lambrecht, Woods, and finally Malama. That's a big win for Woods, as that's a home race. New season, quick look. First off, Jasper Philipsen, new guy, has tendinitis. We'll see how he's looking on this one. Oh, there it is. Start of January. Okay, so he should be, it's just micro on the Achilles. So he should be back here very soon. Also, just in the turn of the year, he has been... he's looking better. He's a 76 now. 73 on the flat, 77 sprint, 81 acceleration, resistance at 70. That is dominant compared to Cantor, the rider he replaced on the team, of course, at some cost, but it's going to be well worth it. Already at a 76, we're now looking at just outside of World Tour status. One more rider at a 76 or a 77 could be enough for next season. Just today, Evenepoel comes back January 1st a bit ill, so hopefully it's just a cold. We are at that point where we need to start putting in those invitations for World Tour races, which really messes with the calendar. So calendar management, easy in Continental, easy in World Tour, difficult as a Continental Pro team trying to get into these races, because you plan for it and then you do or you don't get into these races, and it affects your riders' calendar, their makeup, so it's hard to manage that calendar a long ways out. So you have to kind of micromanage as a Continental Pro team as you're getting in or not getting into races and preparing your riders for that. But we definitely need to get into that preparation of our calendar. We have new equipment, so we're going to take a look at that. First off, though, sponsor, of course, we are at 125,000 this year, but what are we looking at for acceptable? Of course, holds at 125. We add 12 or again 25,000, so that increase is looking the same. So would be up to 150,000 a month if we have super success. We're already, without even having done a race, we're already at success for this season right now. So the team apparently is happy with the look at the moment. Squad sponsor pretty happy with Philipsen. Very happy with the number of U.S. riders. Not so happy with Logan Owen as our most popular U.S. rider, but that's also part of the challenge of a U.S. team, is there aren't necessarily riders in the U.S. that are super popular right now or very well known in the world. Definitely something I need to deal with. In terms of objectives, the most important ones on the year, Strata Bianchi. Wow, that's going to be tough. We've got our top 4 and 6 of the top 8 objectives on the year are all World Tour races that I don't know for sure whether we're even going to get into or not. Paris Tour, so one of those top 8 is post-August. And the first ones for us are coming up very early in the season. with 6 of the first 7 all being World Tour races, and by May. And in terms of the cutoff, here's the cutoff. The Tour of Austria is the cutoff before the signing date for next season, and most of those are those World Tours. So, tough set of objectives this year, and I'm not even sure we're going to get into some of those races. But equipment suppliers, we've moved on. So we signed with Specialized for multiple years, 2-year deal with full R&D. We signed with Zip for our wheels, full R&D, and then we re-signed with Shimano for 1 more year for our group set. We'll see how that equipment actually looks when they are delivered to us. And here's how the team came back. So Cassart has improved from a 62 to a 63 upon return. Garfield, new rider, coming in, 68. Garrison, our new time trialist specialist, he just took second at the under 23s in the World Championships this year. And I had Garrison previously, actually as a support rider sprinter. Dianigi here is a puncher, just 19 years of age. James Mather, time trialist to 70. Gino Mater. That's the young one who just kind of came out of nowhere. What is his potential? It's not great, but if he stays cheap enough, he's okay. Mater's still a 70. Felci a 70. Greg Daniel is a 70. Miguel Bryan's still a 70. Logan Owen still a 71. Ooms is still a 71, so no change for those guys. Stan Godry comes in as a 71. I think he was not a 71, so he might have leveled up. Sean Bennett still a 71. Barta still a 71. Narvaez and McNulty both still 72. Evenepoel still 73. And then the one who did level up is Phillipson, a 76. But my top 2 riders are both suffering to start the season. A little worried by that, but only a little. As we go into our preseason, I highly recommend everybody do this. Set everyone to very high, and then just maintain that status throughout the year. It does not come with fatigue by setting them to very high. So there's no reason not to. And again, if you manage correctly, they can stay at that all season long. We need to wait till January 2nd till we really see our calendar. But we're going to be making those requests, setting things up. I'm going to try to get these guys going into as many World Tour races as we can get our hands on for this season. It looks like we are preset for the UAE, Omloop Het Nieuwsblad, Strade Bianchi, so maybe we are in. So it looks like we will get our hands on some World Tour races this season, and that's exciting. It's an exciting prospect. One thing I've got to watch out for is to not get 3 races at once, so I'm going to definitely be tweaking the calendar considerably. But that's going to do it for this episode and that season. We move on to 2020. We'll be opening with our first race of the year. If we're lucky, we'll be heading to Australia for that. If not, it'll be the Vuelta San Juan International to open the season. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Be sure to drop a like for the successful first season. I'll see you with season 2 and next time. Bye for now.